The South African Council of Churches has joined those who voiced concern at former President Jacob Zuma's intention to defy a constitutional court order for him to appear and cooperate with the State Capture Commission. Zuma has been implicated in the testimony of several people at the inquiry into corruption and alleged abuse of state resources for the benefit of politicians and their allies. The former president says he'd rather go to jail than participate in the process, which he claims is a biased platform because of the alleged past relationship with Chairperson Raymond Zondo. Zuma's application for Zondo's recusal was dismissed. Let's discuss this further now. I'm joined by the General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches, Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana. Bishop, always great to speak to you. So you've issued a statement on this saying you are deeply concerned about the possible implications of the former president defying the Concord order and simply refusing to cooperate with the state capture inquiry. What do you imagine those possible implications to be?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. First of all, Mr. Zuma is a very important person. He is in the immediate past president of the Republic. And therefore, as we say, he has a residual emotional political influence. And so if he takes a view that he is a target, and expresses that in a way that therefore says is not participating in any of the open legal processes. What that does is to set the pattern for a rebellious mindset in society that then leads to lawlessness. That's one. Secondly, there is always the possibility that this might lead to, loyalties and counter-loyalties at community level in our communities, in our congregations, and people attacking each other. We could find people getting killed as a result of this. And so it's very important that all those people with influence act in a way that keeps the whole, and that the project of reconciliation in our society, which is always so important, should be sustained by all those who hold a measure of influence. But apart from that, the language of their law is worrying us, because it almost says, look, I'm out of it. I'm no longer interested in this law, in your law. And that, therefore, in a way, also says their law includes the Constitution and the Constitutional Court. So that us and them mindset, that comes out of it. So these are some of the implications, and they worry us. And finally, I would say that all of us are not happy to hear all these allegations against a former head of state, and that it is so much better to make sure that he takes the opportunity to clear all those things, because I'm sure he'll have an explanation. And that once he has done that, whether, people have said whatever they've said, but if he's able to clear himself and say, you know what, this and that is not true, at least that much does not become part of a permanent impression of who he was.
Bishop Mpumlwana, the former president, in that long statement that he issued earlier in the week, said he'd in fact rather go to jail than subject himself to the processes of the Zondo Commission. So why not just let him miss a date with the inquiry and then have him rounded up by the police if it comes to it?
I think you should appreciate, Thembikile, that we are pastors. That's our job. Our job is to minister to a situation to always minimize the negative impact on all humanity, including individuals such as Mr. Zuma. And so if it were up to us, we would have said, please, in fact, we would like to try and do that. So please, let's just work together to make sure that the processes are... I mean, it's not about him going to jail. It's about clearing the information that people want.
It then raises the question of, if the former president has consistently said that he was not guilty of any corruption, any of the state capture issues, why not participate in the process in the interest of the country moving forward with the full truth? Do you think he is acting as an honest party in the processes so far?
We would not be able to presume to know what his motives are. There are matters of law and matters of opinion. In this case, we are staying with the matters of law, but we're also looking at the pastoral implications of his not collaborating with the law, because then there are social and economic dimensions of this. As we say, we are caught up in the grip of COVID. Can we afford a community conflict that arises because one important person is at odds with the law? No, we can't.
And I want to read to everyone from your statement. You end off by saying, we believe that there are other options that may be open to Mr. Zuma that the South African Council of Churches would be willing to help explore with him as part of our appeal that whatever route he takes must not result in harmful results for South Africa and its millions of ordinary citizens. What would those options be?
Those are the kinds of things we would discuss with Mr. Zuma if he was interested in having the SACC support an effort to bring him back to at least an engagement with the legal process.
Have you reached out to him directly to try and get a meeting? I mean, he's already met with the EFF's Julius Malema.
Well, I don't think I want to have that conversation on air.
Well, Bishop, when you do go, let's hope you also served the same delicious, sweet cup of tea. Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches.